Lieber Herr Professor Kinder, sehr geehrte Frau Präsidentin, Frau Professor Dr. Nihus, sehr geehrter Herr General Vetter, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren. Ich freue mich, heute bei Ihnen in München zu sein, um an der Jahrestagung des Institut CODE teilzunehmen, zumindest virtuell teilzunehmen, auch wenn ich mir und wir uns alle sicherlich gewünscht hätten, dass wir eine ganz normale Präsenzkonferenz hätten veranstalten können.
To come together in Munich in person. And I'm especially pleased that my counterpart from the Netherlands can be here today as well. Ank, a warm welcome to you. I'm very, very pleased to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard that CODE is one of the best places to turn to in Europe when it's about research questions of cyber defense. It is for a reason that CODE is coordinator of the European Concordia program to strengthen the digital sovereignty of Europe and to linking cybersecurity centers throughout Europe. I would like to express my appreciation and thanks to you, Professor Dr. Dreo, and all your colleagues for your excellent work. 2 ministers of defense, 1 university director, 1 head of the research institute, all of them women. A lot has happened in the former male domains of defense research and IT in the last years, and that's a good thing. And it is also good that today's conference, in spite of all the topics that keep us busy today, are keeping us busy, coronavirus, the US elections, is still happening, because that shows how important digital sovereignty and cyber defense are for our governments and for our defense. Right now, I talked to my new Japanese colleague for almost an hour, and we focused on cybersecurity and defense as well. Digital technologies make many things possible. For our armed forces, that means better reconnaissance, better detection, faster decision-making, and more precise engagement. We are already seeing that digital technologies are changing the nature of military conflict. Battlefields are becoming more digital and more limitless, and armed conflict is becoming faster, more complex, more unpredictable, and more hybrid. And yes, the digital transformation can make us more vulnerable. We can see that in the civilian sphere, municipalities, hospitalities, many SMEs. In the last year, they have become targets of cyber attacks. And the Bundeswehr networks, too, are attacked thousands of times every day, and they need to withstand these attacks from the cyber and information space, but also conventional attacks. I'm thinking, for example, of our mobile IT in the field or our communication satellites. The Bundeswehr has to be able to make its contribution under all circumstances to defending Germany and its allies, and defend them against military attacks in all dimensions, ground, air, sea, space, and cyberspace. But, ladies and gentlemen, cybersecurity requires more than well-secured and resilient networks. It is a core challenge for our European societies as a whole. It is about European ability to act in the digital sphere. It poses the question of our digital sovereignty. Sometimes we act like everything digital was some kind of abstract and virtual space, as if states and their political values didn't play a role here. But everything that is part of the digital transformation is built, coded, designed by someone. A cloud is not somewhere in the sky, but it is stored on servers that have a physical location and are subject to the local legal order. And it is in the rarest of cases that this location is in Germany or Europe. It is often Western states outside of Europe, like the US, but too often it is also countries that do not share our values and our ideas of political order or even challenge them. And these countries can shape digital technologies all over the world and design them to their benefit. They have digital agenda-setting power and control key power tools of our future. And this is why it is so important that we Germans make an effort for ourselves, our European friends, to strengthen our scope of action in the digital sphere. Strengthening Europe's digital sovereignty is a priority for the entire federal government and therefore also for the German Council presidency. You all know Gaia X, an important project for building a secure and trusted data infrastructure in Europe. And we're also planning a European cloud to enhance the competitiveness of our industry and at the same time set a safe framework for storage, use and sharing of data within the EU. This is a very specific project that has made good progress over the past month and can rely on broad support in Europe. We have to reduce dependencies and be able to decide for ourselves where European independence is necessary and how we want to put it into practice. This is essential for the economic success of Europe and its future ability to act, also on security-relevant issues. All this shows that digital sovereignty is very important for the armed forces too. In the Bundeswehr, we have to make sure that we can fulfill our tasks safely, autonomously, and free from unwanted influence of third parties. This includes using reliable IT to avoid backdoors for espionage and manipulation, production of key technologies by trusted companies in Germany and Europe, strengthening the digital competencies of our personnel to support a clear understanding of technological issues and contexts. And, of course, we have to invest in digital technology, in research and our ability to innovate. And we've done a lot here. Just think of the Cyber Innovation Hub, the Cyber Agency, and our last project, DTech Bundeswehr. We used funds from the coronavirus economic stimulus package to implement this Center for Digitalization and Technology Research at the Bundeswehr universities of Hamburg and Munich. We want to use the secure environment of our Bundeswehr universities to do research on digital transformation and key and future technologies. Spin-offs are supported, but intellectual property rights should remain available nationally because that strengthened our digital sovereignty. But what matters to me in these projects that it is not just about an isolated increase in research, but these institutions and projects have to form a network, also internationally, to make an important step towards technological leadership in Germany and Europe. One important prioritized project within the armed forces is our project for the digitalization of land-based operations that we are implementing together with our Dutch partners as well. And we've set up a test formation which is now testing new kinds of networking so that the practical implementation will go smoothly in the future. So this way we can use tried and tested new technologies for the mobile IT of our land forces so that we can communicate faster, more directly and more securely at all levels, from the individual soldier to higher command levels. Ladies and gentlemen, digital transformation is a challenge at all levels within the EU, NATO, within the nations and our armed forces. In this concert of digital transformations, we Europeans realistically will not be playing first fiddle, but we have to make sure that our voices will be heard. That requires effort of all of us. And more than anything, it requires shared efforts, because only if we join forces can we catch up with others. And this is why it is an important signal that today the ministers of defense from Germany and the Netherlands and many other European partners from business, research and the European institutions are coming together at this conference to discuss matters of digital sovereignty. I am looking forward to the contribution of my colleague and to our panel discussion afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Kramp-Karrenbauer, for your important keynote. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is my great pleasure and honor